it's nice to connect with other parents as well, not only as a professional, but as a mother as well. Just like sister Rena told you that I do have a son who is 23 and is on spectrum. So this time of year, the summers always get busy for everybody, but especially when it comes to special needs kids. We are so used to of having the routines, and we are so used to of having a certain type of schedule, and that gets upset, and it's upsetting for the kids and it's upsetting for the parents. And even if it's not upsetting, it's something new. And I always find that it's a good idea to use that summer break for teaching them skills that the most important skill, which is flexibility and transitioning. So that's what this workshop or lecture is going to be about. So I'm gonna start. Just like I said, we're all overwhelmed as a family, as a parent. So we are just gonna, during this lecture, I'm gonna give you some tips on how we can make best of this time. The most important thing, which a lot of us know, but it's always a good reminder to have a two-way communication. We're always used to of giving our kids directions. Do this, let's go, it's time to eat. And we are also so busy with other kids and our own schedules at that time that we forget to give them choices, we forget to ask their opinions. And these things, when you ask the kids about their opinions or their choices, or this creates decision-making skill in them. And it's very important for them to use, because when somebody is giving us direction, we're just following it. We're not using a lot of our own brain, but when we are asked something, we have to process in a different way to answer that question or to make a choice. Even if it's simple choices, you want the green shirt or blue shirt, teaching them yes and no is very, very important. Giving them simple cues for, oh, I want to play right now, I'm tired, teaching them about feelings. All those things help them make decisions, and which is a good sense of self-esteem for the kids, and they feel part of the communicative partnership that we have with them. So I always think, whether school or not, but this is a very important thing. And since you spend most of the time with your kids, this becomes a very crucial part of your day. It should become a crucial part of your day, where you are involving them in all the communication. Not only in the activities, because we can do activities with the kids and still tell them what to do. So important thing is that you are involving them in at a communicative level that is beneficial to them in using their skills and learning. Another thing that because we are always kind of, in a different schedule during summers, is the processing time for the children. When we ask them questions, when we give them directions, make sure that you give your child a processing time. Every child is going to have a different processing time, and the response time will be different depending upon what you guys are doing at that time. If it's something that they really, really like, do you want to watch movie? If they love movie, they're going to say right away yes. For non-preferred activities that they don't want to do, their response time will be different. It'll be different for the skills they have already learned. It will be different for the skills that you're just teaching them, or they have not been taught, or they're in the process of learning. In a familiar environment, their processing is going to be different, and thus the response time is going to be different. Same with if they're outside in a mall or in the library, they're going to process things differently. It's a good idea to kind of gauge how long does your child take to process different activities, because then you don't overstimulate them. The reason I'm stressing the response time is because you ask a question. Welcome, the child doesn't respond, and then we ask the same question within 2 seconds, and then 3 seconds. So usually it's, for me, the standard, even when I'm working with the kids or with my own son, 5 to 8 seconds I wait before I repeat my question. So that is less overwhelming for the child, and that's their natural process time. And they get to basically, they have a lot of things going on, so they're able to filter the information that you're providing them during that time. So it's very important to not rush the kids. If you find that they are responding, they have a delayed response. And again, talking about time, the concept of time is very difficult for kids with special needs. We tell them, okay, we're gonna go in an hour. We're gonna go to park in an hour. We're gonna eat in an hour, and they have no idea what an hour means, even if they're able to read the clock or read the time. So this first thing, that the ones with the green dots, I looked it up on eBay, and it has the link here. It's somewhere in the Great Britain. The seller is there, but it's an easy thing to make. If you want to do it at home, you can take it anywhere. It has that keychain you can put it on, or something like this, where you can hook it up to their backpacks, and then at the back it has this closing little baggie. So you can even put a number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put the number at the bottom as well. So that's something you can use. Okay, we're gonna go in an hour, and then you can time it, and every few minutes you put that and say, okay, now we are done, we can go. This helps them regulate that, okay, when all the dots are on the circles, we are ready to go. The other way of doing is like simple countdown. You can also start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I always believe that kids should be given a variety of ways to target the same skill. Once you teach them, and once they have mastered it, once they understand, okay, this is how we do, that's the thing that's going to take me to the end, it's very important to give a variety of the stimuli. For example, these are basically the same things. They're just done in a different way. And the reason it's important for them to have that variety is, you may use these Legos at home. You go somewhere, you forget them. Just take a piece of paper and write something like this, and practice all these things at home so that they can be responsive to all kinds of schedules, all kinds of stimuli that tells them, okay, this also means the same thing. And that again helps them with flexibility. Okay, if it's not there, I can do this. And we know how rigidity sometimes is a kind of an aspect that brings out tantrums and upsets the kids. So give them a variety of ways to tackle the same thing. Very visual. The first two ones are 2 types of timers on iPhone, and I have iPhone, but I'm sure other phones have the same visual where the kids can look at how much time is left. This right one, a lot of people are probably aware of it already. It's a time timer app. It's the big timer that they use in the schools, or they used to do use in the school before iPads and iPhones, but now it's available. It's very clear. The red area comes to the stop, finishes, and that means that they can do the stuff that they want to do, or whatever they're waiting for. For timers, it's not only for waiting, it's a very good idea to use for preferred activities. For example, stimming, humming for sensory things that they want to do, for things that you don't want them to do for a long time. For example, if they want to play with water, and you can set a timer for 5 minutes. If they want to, there are many kids who love to talk about a certain subject. You can set a timer for 2 minutes. Say, okay, you have 2 minutes. Go ahead and talk about whatever you want to talk about. When the timer is done, we're going to be done. So this is the preferred activities that they want. And for non-preferred activities that you want them to do, maybe let's finish the math worksheet, and you can put a timer. So you are the condition you're putting is timer, not completing all the questions. So something like this can help them as well, sitting down for dinner, going in a car, and when they say, when are we going to be there, you can use those timers to approximate the time that you're going to be able to reach there. For teaching new tasks, instead of overloading them till they understand the task, you can put a timer. Okay, we're going to do this activity for maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll resume it tomorrow or in the evening. So the concept of time doesn't come clearly to the kids. We have to facilitate them with these visual cues and visual prompts for them to understand. And it's a very good thing to use during summers when we have so many different things and the kids have to wait and they have to do things that they don't want to do. Know the skill level of your child. That's very important. Sometimes we overload the kids by asking them to or requesting them to do things which they can't do. And that overwhelms the child. It's just like the same thing that I said about repeating the question the same time. And this time we're talking about overwhelming them because we are asking them questions that may or may not know. If you think the child's having problem understanding, we all know our kids very well, but we still end up expecting things from them because we believe they learn the way we all do. It's hard for them to put 2 and 2 together, to synthesize information. So they have to be taught explicitly all the skills. So it's a good time to make it a teaching moment. Maybe you think they do it at the school. The teacher says they do it at the school, but at home they're not doing it. And then you can sit down with them, teach them, explain them step by step, and or know where your child is at that time, and then you can ask for the questions or give him directions according to his or her skill level. This will keep your child relaxed. Otherwise, kids do become overwhelming. It becomes overwhelming for the kids. Choices are very important. Again, like I said, that it helps you to make a decision. You have to make a choice. Do I really want an orange or an apple? It gives them a control of, okay, I can pick. It's not that everything is given to me and I have to do what others tell me. So this becomes very important that they can have a control on their choices and on their life for some aspect of life. When you're giving choices, very important that it's safe and not dangerous or something that you can't provide. For example, if it's outside, they do have to wear a jacket no matter what. If they want to wear different colored socks or different colored mittens, that's perfectly okay, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of parents want things differently, but it's, to me, whatever we can give flexibility to the kids or individuals, adults with special needs, the better it is that they can make some decisions and then feel that, okay, this is what I can have a say in. Earning the trust right here is very important. Don't say something that you're not going to be able to do so that they can trust you next time, that when you give them a choice and when both the choices should be acceptable. If you can't take them to McDonald's, don't say, oh, you want to stay home or go McDonald's, and then say, oh, you maybe can't go. So earn that trust with them and give them the choices and give them options that you are able to carry on at that certain time. Or you can put a time as well. Okay, we will do it tomorrow or something like that, but make sure that you follow through them. Flexibility is, like I said in the beginning, a very, very important thing that we all need to teach our kids. And I'm unable to quote that research, but I can definitely look for it, which actually says that we worked a lot on putting schedules for kids, and this is specific to kids on the spectrum, but even other kids, that we want a schedule, but it has made them their transitioning skills very difficult. So it's important to have the flexible mindset for our kids. And routine we should have schedules, but we should not be very rigid on those. And I will talk about this in the end as well. I have a vocab list where that we can use to teach kids how we can leave some sort of room for change. Definitely home routine should not be as rigid as school. It's easy. It should be easy on you. It should be easy on kids. And I believe schools should not be rigid as well. When I used to work in schools, we always talked about it. And I used to tell the teachers, we should move their desks all the time. And if after the weekend, the child comes and he, instead of sitting in this chair, he's sitting in that chair, or if he sits always on the red chair, let's remove the red chair and put a blue chair. And it's okay if the kids are upset for a little bit, but you will see that as you keep on making the changes, they get used to it. And it's a very, very important skill. And I do know there are a lot of parents and a lot of kids go through this transition skill where they revolve their lives around it because, oh, he can't or she can't handle the change, so we're not going to do it. Teachers have a lot of concerns. If they are absent, the child comes and throws a tantrum, I cannot work with another child. So it's very important to introduce the change. And when you're home with your kids, use this opportunity to introduce this concept of flexible mind and flexible schedules. And this will build transition skills in them. So, like I said, I was going to go to these. We do say that picture is worth 1,000 words, but words have their powers too. And I think it's very important to have these words and this vocabulary in your schedules and in your daily communication with the kids. We always put this on the schedule. We're going to go to maybe, movie, and then we'll come back and we'll do this and this and this. It's important to tell them what maybe is what, oh, are we going to go there? I don't know. We have not decided yet. Maybe we can talk about it tomorrow. I think so, depending upon this. We might do this tomorrow. I'm not sure. What are we doing on weekend? We are going to park either Saturday or Sunday. So that's something we can always beforehand tell them that it's still open. If the weather is good, we'll go. If it rains, we will not go to the park. If it's too hot, we will stay indoors. We have not decided yet what we're going to do or where we're going to go or what movie we're going to watch. Or tomorrow, okay, we're going to watch the movie tomorrow, but we will pick the movie tomorrow, what we're going to watch. So these things are... I tell the parents that I see, and I use these in my 30-minute sessions as well, where I do lay down the things and then we say, okay, if we have time, we will do this. But if the timer goes off, you're not going to be able to get to those. And initially, the kids who are not used to it, they do have a very hard time in walking out of my speech room because they are like, well, you had them out and you had them on the schedule. Like, it's okay. We took longer for one activity, so we can't finish it. And I see slowly that they do understand that. Some kids understand it sooner than the others, but in the end, they do understand this thing that there's a room for change. So to me, the crux of my whole presentation today is this vocabulary. We have to introduce this vocabulary to our kids as soon as possible. We know most of the kids on special needs, they thrive on schedules, but that's not life. We also know that things change. Mom has a headache, can't go outside. That doesn't mean mom with her headache should go outside. We should be able to give our kids that, again, I would repeat the word, the room for change, that if I'm okay, we'll go. I'm not feeling well, that's why we are not going. And it also helps to process a lot of things, because all these things that are written here, you really can't describe them in a picture. You can't really, these are not concrete, these are very abstract concepts. And individuals with special needs are much better with concrete concepts, and they have a harder time coming to abstract concepts, understanding those. So it's important to teach these things from very beginning. And even you have older kids, it's okay to start them as soon as possible. Use these summers to make sure that you're using these vocabularies. And even you can put them in, if they are using schedules, you can put them on the schedule, under the schedule. We're going to movie if, we are done with certain thing. We're going to go to park, and you can write it there if it rains, or you can put if it does not rain, you can put a picture of the appropriate weather picture there. No rain park, things like these. So this is an important thing, which is it's crucial for both you and the kids to reduce the stress of communication, the noise that we have around us. And that goes back to what I was saying, when we ask kids the question and then we ask them again, we are tiring ourselves and we are overwhelming our kids for that. The child doesn't have the time to process the first part of the question we're asking again. And on our side, we are getting frustrated as we ask the question third time. So it's very important to reduce that stress of communication, especially when you're going to be spending the whole day and 10 weeks with them. It ties back to multimodality and multisensory approach. And I did a session some time ago on that. And it's something that as a professional and as a mother, I've always really, really loved to use. And I'm going to explain the total communication, which the definition is right there, which refers to using and accepting all forms of communication, which is verbal, which is nonverbal. Verbal is sounds. If they grunt or something, we should be able to take it as a response, not ask them to repeat their words, their phrases. And nonverbal is if they're looking at something, we should be able to decipher that's what they want instead of asking them, so can you tell me what you want? Their facial expressions, if children are using outcome devices or PECs. So those approaches help us talk less. When we talk less, we make less noise, and it helps the children to process the requests or help them make decisions in a much relaxed way. And they seem to have more control on this stuff or on the decision that they have to make. So total communication, I'll be happy to explain to anybody who wants to know more about it. But that is something which we should all be using throughout the day with our kids. And again, I think I said these things already: reduce the noise, don't repeat the question, give them response time, accept the responses. If you ask them, do you want cookie? And then they use thumbs up to say yes, that should be enough. Or if they point to yes on their device, that should be enough. Do not make them say, can you say, I want cookie? Even for a child's self-esteem, it's like, I already told you, you asked me a question, a yes/no question, and I gave you the answer. And then, why do I have to say the whole thing again? So that is for the nonverbal kids as well. If they're using their device, if they say yes, that's fine. You don't have to make them the whole sentence, I want cookie, please. Accept the response. If they're using sign, their gestures, if they're using the card or the device. Even nodding should be enough. There's no need to make them go through making the whole sentence again. This helps them reduce the stress, and it reduces your own stress. Again, don't make them say again. This reduces a lot of frustration because if they don't have to answer you 3 different ways or finally reach the way that you want them to answer, that kind of brings their frustration up. It's your own stress. I already talked about it. It's very good to be effective and efficient in your communication. And of course, we are respecting them. When we accept their answer, we respect them. We say, okay, we hear you. And that's exactly what the total communication is, using and accepting. And we have to do it across the board. And it also, again, brings the flexibility that this is not the only way I say things and I get things. I can shake my head for a no. I can point to the card that says no. So for verbal, nonverbal, it works for both. I actually work with verbal kids or minimally verbal kids who don't use device as part of their program. But I do use the device, or I have Proloco and Touch Chat on my iPad, and I keep it there so that they can use it to say yes or no or answer the questions if they don't feel like talking. And they talk, and it does not take away their talking power. It just helps them relax. So I'll be happy to, like I said, answer any question that you have. And I saw Mom had asked the question. I will get back to you about that. Validity is also, a lot of kids repeat a lot of stuff. When are we going to go there? When are we going to go to the movies or eat dinner? Or they ask the question, go to park, and all those things. And how many times have you told them? Maybe just in a 15-minute drive, maybe 10 times. And they want validity. The echolalia, which is predominantly in the kids on the spectrum, but a lot of other kids also have been observed to do it. There are two reasons for echolalia. Either they are just giving an input to themselves, the sensory, verbal, or auditory input. The second is not having the concept of time, not having that trust. Okay, maybe we'll go somewhere else and Mom's not going to take me there, or Dad is going to not take me there. So the concept of time, or that's why they ask for validity. They don't know how long we're going to take. We can tell them 15 minutes we'll be in the park, but they can't tell. So we can use those dots that I talked about in the first couple of slides. This really helps them. You can teach that at home for little things, so that you can transition these while doing things outside the home. If somebody is sitting with your child, they can help do the dots during that ride. And some kids are able to do it themselves as well. When Mom tells them, okay, put another dot when the mom is driving and there's nobody else in the car. Of course, our kids have very different skill levels, and we have to adjust to them, but these are just examples of some of the kids that I've seen success with using these cues. So again, for validity and even for echolalia, you can use the concept of time, the timers, or the Velcro countdown things. Those will help. Schedule is pretty good. We all can, like I said, it's a good idea to make schedule. I would just insert a lot of things here, maybe, and all those vocabulary that I told you, that I showed you in a couple of slides before. It's a good idea to have schedule. Again, I'm not saying we should not have it. We should always have a schedule. It just should have the room to be flexible, room for change. And you can intentionally do the changes first so that you are able to handle, instead of having a headache and changing it. Just say, okay, let's change it, so that you can deal with that transition and teach them that skill while you are able to do it. So laying out the schedule in the morning is pretty good. We'll do this. And see, I like the schedule because there's not like 12:10, 12 or 12:20 we're going to do this. It's pretty open, and it's kind of like, again, an abstract. And a lot of kids do want pinpoint time, but we can always use them. Okay, our early morning is somewhere from 8 to 10. We'll see what we can do during that time. So, and again, this is a big stretch. You might have to start like very, very shorter periods of time. It's a good idea to go over your schedule end of the day. Oh, we were gonna go to maybe an aunt's home, but we didn't end up going. You know why? Because, we ended up having a very late lunch, so we didn't have enough time. So those things, again, we are teaching them the abstract concepts of, and it also help them understand the why questions, which again is an abstract concept. Going over the schedule end of the day and revising why we had to change it also builds the flexibility. These are very good visuals that you can use depending upon your child's skill level. Park at 5, park at 5. So they're kind of conveying the same thing. It really depends upon if the child is a reader, you can do this, mix and match. This is a very good picture for Wade. I see a lot of kids when I show it to them, they do. We are all very visual learners. We accept visual more than anything else. So this shows the minute you see this picture, kids do sit down. The quiet voice, I have used it. I use it every day. It's throughout the day, and it does really help me a lot. Instead of me saying, can you be quiet, please? Please be quiet. It's time to be quiet. Let's be quiet. So it's on my phone. I have it in my pictures. I just show it to them. If I can't find the card or something, I just show it to them. And of course, it's not very easy. It takes some time for kids to do that, but they do understand in the end that this is a quiet time. And after that, we can talk. The first, and then is I guess like the age-old method for kids. It's very good. First we'll do work, then we'll play. Mostly you put non-preferred activity on the first, and then you entice them with the then, which is a preferred activity. First we will work, or anything that they don't want to do. It doesn't even have to be work, things that they don't want to eat. First, let's do this, then we can do what you want. So one way of kind of making them understand that you can do what you want, but let's just do this first. So keeping the control. Token system, a lot of you probably use them. It's very good. I'm working for a Switch or video game, and then they can earn the stars as they go. That's pretty good. Again, a different kind of token system for kids who have different skill levels or different things that they want to earn. Involving other family members is pretty good during the summer, especially. Definitely people who are living at home sometimes, and I've seen this especially as moms, that we just feel that it's our sole responsibility to care of the child and the rest of the household. It's very important to delegate some responsibilities. And I wrote that right here. Maybe dad can teach how to brush teeth. And I've also seen it otherwise, where dads are very involved and they try to take everything on, and it puts stress on one person. Either the mom is too stressed or dad. So we have to delegate and say, okay, I'll do this, you do this. And that also helps the child to deal with two different personalities. And that also develops a flexibility in them. We all know the way your child responds or reacts or acts towards dad is different from the way he or she does towards mom. So they are using their cognitive skills to decipher how I'm going to carry out this task or get my way with this certain person, mom or dad or sister, older sister, younger brother. So definitely involve people who are living in the home, and those living abroad, FaceTime, Zoom, Teams. It's very important for them to use all those multimodalities and be able to use to meet other people, and that's how they remember. And it's very important to have that part of your routines, even when it's not summers, but definitely for summers, once a week, or however you guys do it, if people are living abroad or out of the countries, like most of us all are immigrants. You can do little things like, okay, the older sister can sit down with 20 minutes, do painting, play a board game or some things like these. But it's a good idea to involve the family members. You're going to be giving him lunch this time. You're going to be, taking care of her bath this time. So those also reduce the stress, especially during the summers. So that was pretty much it. And I think above all, we all know that we must enjoy our kids. We have to teach them, we have to make them navigate this world. And that's why I believe that we need to reduce the stress of communication, of the noise around us and around them, so that we can enjoy them. I believe summers are a very, very good time to introduce those concepts if you have not already.